Hey y'all, it's me, Jocasta Lester. In this video, I want to talk to you about sin categories and natural opposed parties, naturally opposing natural conflict. Okay, so I made that up. Check this out. There are people that I think they would have tensions just because they don't seem to have any way of actually having like oil and water, they don't mix. Okay, so I was thinking about it, and there are certain people, like, let's say you just finally got the freedom of speech that you really love, like you really can just let loose the way that you prefer. Okay, you just talk about stuff, you're irreverent in some ways but not against Jesus. You don't adhere to certain standards or things. Like whatever it was I was trying to say before I started talking that sounded right in my head. Basically, let's say that you have a way that you've gotten free because Christ has set you free. And there are people now who introduce limiters based on what their situations have been. Okay. So let's say you have divergent backgrounds because you just didn't grow up alike. Okay. When you grew up, you didn't go into the same experiences. And therefore, when you come into contact with these people, you clash because they're not your type. They can't be your type because if you try to adjust yourself to become their type, you would lose you. No, don't. Don't do it, I say. No. Find your spec and find the people that are natural allies, not the ones that are natural God, foes, but not really, because some you could exist amicably, but they're just not your favorite people. They would have trouble with you talking, for instance, because you say things that you feel like saying. And you would be considered insensitive because the things that you'd rather say are things that you know you're just gonna say. So I say that to say this. There are people who have been abusers and abandoned it. So let's say, as a person who's been abusive, whatever ways in which you've sinned, okay, you've turned away from those sins, you've repented. So you said, I'm going a different way. I don't want to do that no more. But when you said no more, you meant it. But there are people who have this thing where they're like, yeah, right, no more, yeah, blah, blah, blah. So you'd be spending all your time trying to prove that you ain't doing that no more. No, you go somewhere else. Go. Don't talk to me. I don't like y'all. And that's the truth. Not all of you. I like my order. I like y'all. Hey, don't leave me. I'd be lonely not. But like there's people who, you know, if you've abandoned a particular sin group, you have the basic types. The two main basic types are the abusers and the abusers and the abused. Okay, they who have been the recipient of the malice or the bad things that came of your sin, and those who have been the sinners themselves acting upon people. What happens is when you are amongst abusers, they get super excited and exuberant and elated, somewhat impulsive when it comes to a person that is also an abuser. They like those people, they prefer those people, and they're abusive. So that when you talk to these types, it's like, yeah, you're going to be in that abuser group. You don't want to be the abusers if you turned away from abuse and abusing and such. So when you got abusers that have been abusers, it's what they're into. So that, let's say they rob or whatever, right? Let's say you shake people down and you're going to, put on your hoodie, put on whatever, and you're just going to take your gun and put it right here, No, I don't, because I ain't robbed nobody. But for those who rob and they see eye to eye on robbing, they be comfortable just talking about robbing all willy-nilly. But you sitting there like, I don't want to be no fed or no narc, but I don't want to talk about this because I'm scared. I don't want to know what's gonna come of this conversation. I don't want nobody asking me something down the street like, "Yo, is blah blah blah? Have you seen blah blah blah?" Somebody owe me $100. No, I'm just being silly. But also there's the other group, the people that have been pistol whipped. You feel me? And in groups of people that have been pistol whipped, you can't say, I pistol whipped that fool. They've actually been pistol whipped, and then you have to be sensitive about pistol whipping. So I say all of that to say this. There are people that, I don't want to exercise tact. I don't. I don't care to have, I don't want to overcompensate in an attempt to keep a friendship or to maintain a connection. Instead, I'd rather advise that person to go be amongst people who are more inclined to speak about things that they prefer to talk about. You feel me? That way, they're happier. They're more free. They're more, jubilant. They're able to be there without being in angst and annoyed by the ignorant and belligerent things that I would say. So I wouldn't be editing, and I wouldn't need the censorship so much, because it's just like, yo, I can now be comfortable to talk to you. You get it? So I use spec to do that. I use it to just kind of weed out those who would be put off by the things I would say, that would be, offended by nearly everything about my existence. I'm like, no, I don't care to be that type of person for you. I don't care to be so buttoned up. I don't care to be so polite. I'm not insensitive. It's just at some point you find that space. And when you find that place where you is enough, you is okay, and you is unapologetic for you, because you have nothing to repent for, because you didn't do anything wrong. You're just talking, having fun, joking, and enjoying a good time. Okay? Sometimes when you're dealing with people who have been abused, you have to be careful. Are you ready? Are you really ready to be in a group of people who have been abused? Like, would you be able to be in that group? I can't, and I know it. I understand that after what I've been through, after what I've gone through, after sitting in conversations with these girls and guys and people. And I'm like, you know what? I tend to bias the people who are just like, dang, that pretty much sucked, and dang, oh yeah, y'all are pretty intense. We're going the other way. So there's a people that also have a companion group. The abusers have the people that are excited about abuse, and thus have a commitment now. So let's say the idol of the abusers is the abuser themselves, and the subordinates have an interest to keep the person free being evil and to cover up their evil, so that the abusers have a fan base. Their fan base are the cover artists, the cover up people, the people that know how to let them get away with it. It's not okay. And I don't want to be in that class, nor do I want that class near me. Now, the second class, the abused, they have more of an interest too, to fight, to get that get back. Okay. They're motivated to go after those people who did it. Okay. That's their passion. That's their drive in some cases. And sometimes there is also this, I guess the word is fragility. They're more fragile. And with that said, you'd be making so many apologies for things you haven't done in some cases. You'd be trying to find ways to talk about things without offending a person. And I'm like, no, I can't be in this group. I gotta go. Because this group, I'm telling you, I'm not allowed to speak freely with this group. If I speak freely with this group, I don't tend to blame the person that's been abused. But when it's a case where I go, okay, well, they say, well, you wouldn't understand unless you went through it. I hate that statement because I'm like, it's not that I don't understand it. I do, but I don't understand it to the degree that you understand it, because it's something that's happened to you. But at the end of the day, I don't care to, I don't care to wallow in it. I don't care to talk about it ad nauseum. And these tend to be more stoic, serious types. Okay. They're motivated to overcompensate for abuse, and they tend to be people that they want to put a stop to it. And understandably so. They're active in that way. They're proactive in that way. And these tend to be more intellectually gifted. Okay. They tend to be people that are smarter in some ways, but have that desire, that that zeal to, they have something to prove. And when people have something to prove, sometimes you're there and they have something to prove on you. So I'd rather be absent. I'd rather be absent at all of those parties, every single one. I'd rather not attend. I'd rather be somebody who doesn't RSVP because I don't want to be an abuser. So, anyway, so there's the ones who cover up for the abusers. Then there's the ones who actively seek vengeance on the behalf of the abused. And they're consistently striving to uphold and preserve the honor of the ones that have been abused, so that you're in the worship fest of these people that have been, maybe they've been some other stuff, but because they were abused, they're now a special victim, and they're such a victim that they're just so good. They're now a good person. They're floating somewhere. So anyway, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. I hope I haven't offended you. I'm sorry.